I never thought I'd end up hating my own brother. Even writing that sentence feels wrong. But if you've ever loved someone who keeps betraying you, maybe you'll understand. My name's Adam. I'm 29, and I've always been the responsible one in my family. My younger brother Ryan, 26, is the exact opposite. Spontaneous, impulsive, charming when he wants to be, but utterly unreliable. Ever since we were kids, I've been cleaning up after him. When Mom couldn't pay rent after Dad walked out, I took a night job. When Ryan wrecked his first car because he thought insurance was optional, guess who paid the towing fee? It's always been like that. I used to think he just needed guidance, that I could somehow save him. Turns out, you can't save someone who enjoys drowning. It started on a Thursday night. I was halfway through dinner when my phone rang, Ryan's name flashing across the screen. Normally, I'd let it go to voicemail, but something about that moment, maybe guilt, maybe habit, made me answer. His voice was trembling. "Adam, I messed up, man. I'm in real trouble." I sighed. "What kind of trouble this time?" He was quiet for a second, then said, "I owe money, a lot, 25 grand. I almost dropped my fork." "What? How the hell?" He cut me off, panicked. "It was supposed to be a sure thing, bro. A crypto startup. My buddy said it would double in a month. I put everything in and borrowed the rest. But the market crashed, and now the guys I borrowed from want it back." I rubbed my temples. "You took out illegal loans? From who?" He hesitated. "Some guys in town, not banks, real people." That was the moment my stomach turned. "Are you telling me you borrowed from loan sharks?" "Yeah," he whispered, "and they said if I don't pay by next week, they'll come after me." There was a long silence. I could hear him breathing too fast, almost crying. "Please, Adam, I swear I'll pay you back. Just this once." Just this once. He'd said that before, 5 times at least, but I couldn't ignore the terror in his voice. He wasn't faking this one, so I did something incredibly stupid. I went to the bank the next morning and took out a personal loan for $25,000, cleaned out my emergency savings to cover the rest. Met those guys myself, paid them in cash, told them Ryan was square. They smiled that cold kind of smile people have when they're used to scaring others. One of them said, "You're a good brother. Hope it's worth it." I still hear that line sometimes at night. When I handed Ryan the receipt that said, "Paid in full," he actually cried. He hugged me over and over. "You saved my life, man. I'll never forget this. I swear to God, I'll make it right." If I'd known what he'd do next, I would have let those guys break his kneecaps. A few days later, my fiancée Emma asked about Ryan. She was sitting across from me at our small kitchen table, still in her nurse scrubs, her hair tied back. Emma's the kind of person who sees the best in everyone, the total opposite of me. She said, "You did the right thing, Adam. He just needs someone to believe in him." I smiled, but inside, I felt a storm brewing. Because belief wasn't Ryan's problem, boundaries were. Still, I tried to be the good guy. I even invited Ryan to dinner that weekend. He came over, brought a cheap bottle of wine, and charmed Emma instantly with his stupid jokes. He made her laugh, the real throw-your-head-back kind of laugh I hadn't heard in a while. I told myself it was fine. He was my brother, and she was my fiancée. What could go wrong? By the end of that night, Ryan said something that stuck with me. He leaned over and said, half joking, "Man, if you ever screw this up, I'm taking your place." Emma rolled her eyes. "You wish." I laughed too, but it didn't feel funny. Over the next few weeks, he started hanging around more. "Just helping out," he'd say. Sometimes he'd drive Emma to appointments when I was working late. Other times, he'd help with wedding errands. I appreciated it at first, but little things started to feel off. One afternoon, I came home early from work and found them sitting close on the couch whispering. They jumped apart when I opened the door. Ryan grinned like nothing happened. "Oh, hey, we were just picking music for the wedding." Emma smiled too, but she looked flushed. I brushed it off. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe I was paranoid. But later that night, when she fell asleep, her phone lit up with a text from Ryan. "Can't sleep. Wish I could talk to you again." I stared at it for a long time, then turned off the screen and put the phone down. I didn't want to be that guy, the controlling fiancé. But something inside me shifted that night, like a quiet alarm finally going off. The next week, Ryan called again. Not to say thanks, not to talk about the money. He said, "Hey, can I crash at your place for a bit? My lease is up, and my roommate bailed." Before I could respond, Emma chimed in from the kitchen. "Of course you can. You're family." And that was that. Ryan moved into our guest room the next day. I told myself it'd be temporary, just a week or two. But deep down, I already knew. Nothing about this was temporary anymore. The first few days with Ryan staying over weren't that bad. He kept saying he was looking for a new place, and I wanted to believe him. He helped around the house, cracked jokes at dinner, even washed the dishes once, which was a miracle in itself. Emma said it was nice having family around. I tried to see it that way too. But by the end of week 1, something felt off. Ryan and Emma were always talking, whispering, laughing, inside jokes that didn't include me. And it wasn't just my imagination. I started noticing the smallest details, like how she'd start dressing up more, even when we weren't going anywhere, or how Ryan would look at her a little too long when she spoke, or how, when I'd walk into a room, they'd go silent. It's funny, betrayal doesn't come all at once. It seeps in through the cracks quietly until one day everything you thought was solid crumbles. One night, I got home late from work. The house was dark except for a faint glow coming from the living room. I dropped my bag and walked in, and froze. There they were, Ryan and Emma, dancing, slowly, close. No music playing, just the soft hum of a song from Ryan's phone speaker, "Say You Won't Let Go." That song wasn't random. It was our song, the one playing when I proposed to Emma a year earlier. They didn't see me at first. Ryan's hands were on her waist. She was smiling. I must have made a sound because they suddenly jumped apart, both startled. "Oh, Adam," Emma gasped, eyes wide. "We were just practicing your first dance." Ryan nodded too fast. "Yeah, man, it was her idea." But my first thought wasn't even anger. It was disbelief. Practicing our dance, at midnight, without me. I didn't say anything. I just walked out. Emma followed me to the kitchen. "Adam, wait, it's not what it looked like." "I didn't say anything," I replied. My voice sounded flat, almost mechanical. She tried to grab my arm. "He's your brother, Adam. Don't make it weird." I looked at her for a long second, then said quietly, "Then stop giving me reasons to." She didn't reply. For the next few days, I barely slept. At work, I'd zone out, replaying every laugh, every glance, every moment I'd brushed off as innocent. I felt like I was losing my grip on reality. So, one night, I decided to test it. Ryan had left his phone on the counter. While he was showering, I checked it. I know I shouldn't have, but I had to know. His messages with Emma were there, most of them harmless. Memes, wedding stuff, good morning, texts. But there were a few that made my chest tighten. "Ryan, you looked beautiful tonight." "Emma, stop, you'll get me in trouble." "Ryan, worth it." I remember standing there, the phone in my hand, my reflection staring back from the black screen. That was all I needed to see. When he came out, towel over his shoulder, I said, "You should start looking for that new apartment." He blinked. "Why?" "Because I want my house back." He smirked like he knew exactly what I'd seen. "Relax, man. Don't be so uptight. We're family." I almost hit him. Instead, I just said, "You've got a week." Emma defended him. Of course she did. "Adam, he's trying. You can't just throw him out like that." "I'm not throwing him out," I said. "I'm asking for space." She frowned. "You're acting paranoid." That word, paranoid, stuck in my chest like a knife. Because maybe she was right. Maybe I was overreacting. Or maybe I was finally waking up. A few days later, Emma told me she wanted to clear her head and stay at her friend Claire's for the weekend. I said, okay, we both needed space. But Sunday night came, and she didn't come home. No call, no text, nothing. By Monday morning, my gut told me where she was. I drove to Ryan's old apartment. His car was there, and so was hers. I sat in my car across the street, hands shaking on the wheel. Then I saw them, through the window, Ryan, shirtless, walking across the room. Emma, wrapped in a blanket, laughing at something he said. I didn't knock, didn't confront them, I just drove home. Because the moment you see something like that, you stop being angry. You just go numb. The next day, Ryan came by to pick up his stuff. He acted casual, like nothing happened. Hey man, thanks for letting me crash for a while. Appreciate it. I didn't answer. He picked up his bag and before leaving said, You know, Em's not happy lately. Maybe you should pay more attention to her. That was it. That was the moment something in me broke. I lunged at him, grabbed his shirt. You touch her again and I swear... He pushed me off, laughing. Wow, guess I hit a nerve. Then he just walked out. That night, Emma came home. She didn't look guilty, just tired. She sat across from me at the table and said, Adam, I can't do this anymore. I stared at her. Do what? This, us. She swallowed hard. I love you, but I think I'm in love with Ryan. For a few seconds, everything went quiet, like the world just paused. Then I laughed. It wasn't even a real laugh, just a hollow sound that came out of me. You think this is love? He used you, Emma. He's been using people his whole life. She shook her head, tears in her eyes. You don't know him like I do. Oh, I know him exactly like you do, I said. I'm just not sleeping with him. She flinched. Don't make this harder. I stood up. Then go. Be with him. But don't come back when he ruins you too. And she left. Just like that. 3 years of love, of planning, of promises, gone in one night. I didn't go to work for a week after that. I didn't eat much either. Mom called, worried. I told her the truth. She cried. Then she said the worst possible thing. You know your brother's heart. He didn't mean to hurt you. That's when I realized that even my family wouldn't hold him accountable. He could burn down the world, and they'd still hand him matches. About a month later, I saw a post on Instagram. Ryan and Emma, smiling. Caption, sometimes the wrong path leads to the right person. I didn't cry, didn't scream. I just stared at it for a while, then deleted my account. Because some betrayals don't deserve tears. They deserve silence. After Emma left, the house didn't feel like home anymore. Every corner carried an echo of her. Her coffee mug by the sink, her hair tie on the dresser, her perfume faintly lingering on the couch. I tried to box up everything, but you can't pack away memories. They stick to the walls like smoke. For the first few days, I just existed. I'd wake up, stare at the ceiling, and wonder what the hell happened to my life. In a month, I'd gone from being a man about to get married to a man whose fiancée was living with his brother, the same brother I'd just saved from debt that almost got him killed. I kept thinking, if I hadn't helped him, none of this would have happened. That thought repeated in my mind like a curse. My mom called almost every day. Adam, honey, please talk to Ryan, she'd beg. He feels terrible. Terrible? I said once, my voice shaking. He stole my fiancée, Mom. You think he's terrible or just caught? She sighed. He's still your brother. Family shouldn't hate family. That word, family, started to feel poisonous. Family was supposed to mean love, loyalty, trust. Now it just meant betrayal I couldn't escape. One night, I finally broke down. I went to a bar somewhere quiet where nobody knew me, ordered whiskey after whiskey until the world blurred. I remember staring at the glass, whispering, he was supposed to be my brother. The bartender didn't respond, but he didn't have to. Some pain doesn't need an audience, it just needs to breathe. I stumbled home, sat in the dark, and opened my phone. Instagram, their faces smiling back at me. Ryan and Emma playing house. They'd gone to the beach, posted pictures like nothing ever happened. Her hand on his chest, his arm around her waist. The caption read, "Sometimes love surprises you." That broke me. Not the betrayal, the normalcy of it. Like our history was just a minor inconvenience they'd both moved on from. I threw my phone across the room. The screen cracked. Maybe something in me cracked with it. Weeks passed. I tried therapy. The counselor told me to focus on myself, to rebuild. But rebuilding assumes you still have something left to build from. I felt hollow, like Ryan had taken not just my fiancée, but the last bit of trust I had in people. Still, life doesn't pause for heartbreak. I went back to work, buried myself in long hours. It helped. At least, the pretending did. But at night, the silence was unbearable. Then, one random Tuesday morning, something happened that changed everything. I was at a gas station, grabbing coffee before work. As I was paying, the cashier looked at my name tag and said, "You related to Ryan?" I froze. "Yeah, why?" He smirked. "That guy's wild, man. He was in here last month bragging about how he scammed some guy out of 25 grand. Said he made up a fake loan story. Genius, right?" The words hit me like a freight train. Fake loan story. I stared at him, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. "Did he say who?" I asked quietly. The cashier shrugged. "Nah, just said his brother was dumb enough to pay it. Thought it was funny." Funny? That's what he called it. I left the store in a daze, coffee untouched. Got into my car and just sat there, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Everything made sense. The timing, the manipulation, the tears. He had never been in debt. He made it all up, just to take my money, to make me look like a savior in front of Emma. And once she saw me as the boring, responsible one, he swooped in as the fun alternative. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to punch something. But most of all, I wanted to scream at myself for ever believing in him. That night, I called my mom. "Did Ryan ever pay back the loan?" I asked. She hesitated. "He said he did, that he gave you cash a while ago." I laughed. "He never gave me a dime. He lied to you too, Mom." She started crying. "Adam, please don't do anything stupid." But I'd already hung up. The next day, Ryan called me. It was the first time I'd heard his voice in weeks. "Yo, bro," he started casually like nothing had happened. "You probably hate me, but I wanted to clear the air." I stayed silent. He continued. "Look, I didn't plan for things with Emma to happen. We just clicked. You know how it is." "Cut the crap," I said. "You lied about the debt." Silence. Then he laughed. "Wow. Took you this long to figure that out?" My blood ran cold. He wasn't even sorry. He enjoyed it. "I needed cash, you had it. You've always been the golden boy, Adam. You think life's so fair? Consider it even." I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. "Even? You stole my money and my fiancée." He said, "Correction, I earned her. You just got boring." That was it. I hung up before I said something that would have put me in prison. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the dark thinking. For years I'd tried to protect Ryan from the world, but maybe the world needed protecting from him. He'd conned people before. Small scams, lies, fake investments. But this time, he'd gone too far, and I couldn't let it slide. I started gathering everything I had. Old text messages, receipts from the fake loan, messages where he admitted things. He wasn't just a manipulator. He'd technically committed fraud. I wasn't planning to press charges. Not yet. But I wanted leverage, something to remind him I wasn't his doormat anymore. A week later, I heard through a mutual friend that Ryan and Emma had broken up. Apparently, she caught him texting someone else. Classic Ryan. Part of me wanted to feel vindicated, but mostly I just felt empty, because no amount of karma could give me back what I'd lost. A few days after that, Ryan showed up at my office, unannounced, smiling like we were just two brothers catching up. "Hey man, long time no see," I stared at him. "What do you want?" He shrugged. "Emma left. Guess she wasn't the one. But hey, maybe it's for the best, huh? You and me, starting over?" I laughed in disbelief. "You're unbelievable. Come on, bro," he said, spreading his arms. "Family." I stood up. "You want family? Family doesn't lie, steal, or screw each other's fiancés." He rolled his eyes. "Still holding a grudge, huh?" That's when I pulled out my phone. I have screenshots, Ryan, of everything. The texts, the lies, the fake debt. You want to test me? His smile vanished. I stepped closer. "If you ever come near me again, or her, I'll make sure every one of your scams hits the cops' inbox by morning." He stared at me, then muttered, "You wouldn't." I smiled for the first time in months. "Try me." He left without another word. That night, I slept. Really slept. For the first time since everything happened, my chest didn't feel heavy. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally stopped playing his game. I realized something then. Forgiving someone doesn't always mean reconciling. Sometimes forgiveness means closing the door and locking it forever. 6 months passed. 6 long months since my brother destroyed everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and family. And yet, somewhere in that storm, I found peace. Therapy helped. Work helped. Time, though cruel, healed me in ways I didn't expect. I moved to a new apartment, smaller but brighter, started running again, reconnected with old friends I'd pushed away during my engagement. And slowly, I began to feel like myself again. Not Adam the fiancé, not Adam the betrayed, just Adam, the guy learning to breathe without bitterness in his lungs. Then, one rainy afternoon, I got an email. Subject, "Can we talk? Emma." I stared at the screen for a full minute. Part of me wanted to delete it instantly. Another part, the part that still remembered her laugh, her eyes, couldn't resist. She wrote that she was sorry, that she'd made the biggest mistake of her life, that Ryan wasn't who she thought he was, that she finally understood what she'd thrown away. I didn't respond right away. I reread the message maybe 50 times that night. The next morning, I agreed to meet her in a coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground. When I walked in, she was already there. Same hair, same nervous smile. But something about her had changed. She looked smaller somehow, fragile, like guilt had been wearing her down. "Adam," she whispered, standing up. "Emma." For a moment, we just stared at each other. No hugs, no fake smiles. Just two people who used to know each other's hearts, and now barely recognized the pieces. She motioned to sit, and I did. Silence stretched between us, heavy but strangely calm. Finally, she spoke. "I don't even know where to start," she said softly. I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I was stupid. I let Ryan manipulate me." I nodded, quiet. "He's good at that." She looked down at her hands. "He told me you were controlling, that you didn't really love me, that you were just settling." Her voice broke. And I believed him. I don't even know why. Maybe because I wanted to feel special, wanted someone to make me feel wanted. Her honesty hurt more than her betrayal ever did, because deep down, part of me understood that kind of weakness. She went on, tears filling her eyes. "When he cheated on me, I realized everything, every lie, every game. I lost everything because I trusted the wrong person." Then she looked up at me. "But I never stopped thinking about you." I took a deep breath. "Emma, I loved you with everything I had, but what you did, it broke something in me I can't fix." She wiped her tears. "I know. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I regret it, every single day." For a while, neither of us said anything. The coffee went cold. The rain outside blurred the city lights. Finally, I spoke. "Do you know what hurt the most?" She looked at me, eyes red. "It wasn't losing you," I said quietly. "It was realizing that the person I loved didn't love me enough to ask before believing a lie." That hit her like a punch. She closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I deserve that," she whispered. Then I told her the truth, about Ryan's fake debt, the scam, how he'd use both of us. Her eyes widened in shock. "He lied about that too?" I nodded. "He played us both. He always does." She shook her head in disbelief, then let out a bitter laugh. "God, I ruined the best thing in my life for him." Her voice cracked. "You must hate me." I hesitated. "I did," I admitted, "for a long time. But hate, it doesn't fix anything. It just keeps you tied to the past, and I'm done living there." She looked at me, really looked, and whispered, "You're a better person than I'll ever be." I smiled faintly. "No, just someone who finally learned to let go." We talked for another hour, not about the past, but about who we'd become. She was trying to rebuild her life too, working 2 jobs, staying with her sister. There was no flirting, no hidden agenda, just closure, the kind that hurts but also heals. When it was time to leave, she stood and said, You deserve someone who'll never make you question your worth. I nodded. So do you. And that was it. No dramatic ending, no rekindled love, just peace, quiet, simple peace. A few days later, I got a call from my mom again. Apparently, Ryan had been arrested. Fraud charges, multiple victims, fake investment schemes. I wasn't surprised. The universe has a funny way of catching up. Mom was devastated. I comforted her, but I didn't feel sorry for him. He'd built his whole life on lies. Eventually, the foundation had to crack. She asked if I'd visit him in jail. I said, maybe someday, but not now. I needed to keep my distance from all of it. Months passed again. I met new people, started dating slowly, cautiously. But I wasn't looking for someone to replace Emma. I was looking for someone who saw me for who I was, scars and all. And one night, as I sat on my balcony watching the city lights flicker, I realized something profound. Ryan's betrayal didn't destroy me. It refined me. It taught me who I was when everything fell apart, and who I refused to become. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's this. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control how long you let it define you. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom. Because holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die. So I let go of him, of her, of the version of myself that thought love meant saving people who never wanted to be saved. Now I'm free. And sometimes that's the best kind of revenge.